June, it has been a minute.
Yes, it has.
Tell me a little bit about what it's been like since we last visited.
Since you last visited, it's been like a home. You know, my daughter moved back with her kids, and so it's been a home, in and out. Lot work done on the inside and outside by the city. Thank God for the city of Detroit.
Right.
And I just, you know, every time I think about you, though, or I see you on TV, I just laugh because we had a good time.
We sure did.
And I forgot that I was trying to save the house. After a while, I was like, oh, man.
Well, it's funny, when I told you that, you know, it was one of my favorite stories, you said, well, it's definitely
my favorite story in all the world.
What happened to June Walker made national headlines.
But this time, the story has a happy ending. Our Devin Scillian shows us who stepped in to help. Devin?
You know, for just about anyone, it would be an extraordinary thing for a stranger to show up out of the blue and pay off your house for you. But it was more than kindness that was extended to June Walker. Given her circumstances, it was a rescue from a scam that entraps far too many Detroiters. And it came courtesy of a former Detroiter who just decided to make a difference.
This is June Walker's house, or at least it's about to be. She's lived here for about 4 years and worked her tail off to make the payments on a rent-to-own plan.
When I made that last payment, I just knew I had arrived in America. The American dream,
That's right?
I got it. I did it, and I did it legally. Did it the right way.
Or so she thought. Turns out the guy who said he owned it didn't, and he was gone.
Way too common. It's pretty easy in Detroit to find a vacant house, and you heard about the condition of her house. You know, change the locks, get a key, and find someone on a street corner say you need some housing.
When June moved in, there was no front door, no plumbing, and a basement full of water. But she saw a home and turned it into what you see today. The crook took off, and the company that actually owned the house sent June an eviction notice. Unfair? You have no idea.
You had turned everything around.
Yeah, and it took work, you know, because I've been homeless 7 times in my lifetime. A drug addict, 36 years, and got clean, got my kids back, went to graduate school, got a master's degree in paralegal studies. You know, so I'm saying, okay, finding out to do it the right way is a whole lot better and easier.
A 10-minute ride away, I was sitting at lunch with the man who was about to change June's life.
June, thank you so much for your time.
NBC had come across June Walker and ran a story on their website about the Detroit woman losing her house to a scam. News came that an anonymous donor in Texas had read her story and wanted to make it right. He wanted to pay the $45,000 the owner now wanted for the property. He was anonymous to June, but not to me.
It's amazing, Jerry. I'm so proud of you.
I've known Jerry Gumbert for almost 40 years. We worked together in Texas and then Oklahoma. That's us shortly after Corey gave birth to our daughter, Quinn. Then Jerry became the head of one of the country's biggest television research and consulting firms. He lives in Texas, but Jerry was born in Jackson, Michigan, and raised in suburban Detroit.
I feel thankful that I can give back to the city of Detroit in a way. I've been gone for 50 years, and to give Miss June Walker back the house that she deserves and rightfully owns is, boy, that's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I'm going to seize it today.
And today is the day that the man who bought the house would finally meet June Walker, the woman who can now truly call it home.
There she is.
There he is.
Can I have a hug?
Yes, you can. How are you?
Good to meet you,
So glad to meet you. So glad. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love you.
Look at you.
There was a tour, of course, of the house that Jerry owned for about as long as it took to sign it over to June. He read her part of the story that moved him to tears as it moved him to act. And it was honestly hard to see who was happier, June or Jerry.
Had a real moment. I had tears coming down my face.
Yes.
Because I couldn't imagine.
And we were going to try and fundraise when this angel comes out of nowhere with the money. and that was wonderful. Yeah.
You don't get to see very many days.
No,
like
we
today.
don't. We don't.
Someone told me, why would you do that for a stranger? I mean, a true stranger.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, strangers, our best friends were strangers when we first met them, right? And so I've just got me a new best friend, and that new best friend's going to give me love and warmth and happiness for a long time.
Yeah.
So
your lives are now tangled, right?
forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
You get it all.
Now, Jerry had planned on remaining anonymous, and I kind of talked him out of that because I thought maybe he might be able to inspire others. And Jerry agreed because he's hoping so too. Sometimes, if you see a problem, you don't have to wait for someone else to fix it.
I love this story on so many different levels. I really do. And he is an angel.
He is, and if that inspires one more person to do something like this.
You know, sometimes the problem that's right in front of you, maybe, you know, you can just do something about it. One thing, I had a couple questions about the scam artist.
Yeah.
June has been able to pick him out of a photo lineup. So police think they know who he is. They right now don't know where he is. But hopefully they'll be able to find this guy. But this is a problem that continues to plague Detroit, where you've got a lot of abandoned houses, and it's easy for somebody to, and just like she said, she was doing everything the right way.
She was following the rules.
Just the worst kind of crime, but the nicest kind of ending.
Well, if they catch him, that's a perfect
That would
story.
be fun too.
It
Yeah,
really
we'll work on that ending too.
Do we
Thank
have to
you,
go on with
Devin.
this newscast? I mean, that's it. That's everything.
Thank you, Devin. We appreciate it.
Yes.
And it was nice to hear that you and Jerry still stay in touch.
Oh, we
right?
do. Yeah. He's a great guy. I love him.
Well, and he told me that when he was doing this, he said, you know, I'm not just helping June. He said, I imagine I'm gaining a lifelong friend.
Yeah. I told him one day I'm gonna come to Texas, but he said, well, it's 100 and something, 14 or so. I said,
Not this week.
No, no.
When and you occasionally run into people who recognize you from the store.
Yes, I've been in a grocery store, any grocery store, or anywhere, and they say, I know you. And I say, probably from Channel 4 and Devin. That's it. I said, how you doing? I said, I'm doing fine. And I just start smiling. They said, yeah. I said, I had a good time.
Oh, that's so great.
Yes.
When this happened, you were, of course, just a couple of months from complete despair over what had happened to you.
Yeah.
Do you think much about the miracle of it all?
All the time. Because it had to have been God that touched Jerry's heart and made him decide to come here and do what he did. And what he did encouraged other millionaires and billionaires to pay off people's homes or mortgages, according to the Housing Coalition.
Yeah.
And they're still fighting the good fight. Right?
That's what, you know, Jerry originally didn't want to be, didn't want his name out there. It was going to be just sort of anonymous. But I thought I convinced him that maybe he would inspire others to do what he did, and it did.
It did. You could see God all the way through this because of the way everything worked out. Like, man, I've never seen everything just come into place like that. And then I had a lot of peace about the whole situation. So that's why I couldn't stop laughing and smiling. But it's great because the neighbors are still cool.
Yeah.
Mind their business. And the street,
In fact, to talk about what's happened in the whole neighborhood since that time.
I think they started a block club.
Yep.
And 7 miles, still 7 miles. It's always.
Yeah.
And then in the neighborhood, but they're talking about redoing Gratiot where it'll be down to 1 or 2 lanes. Mm. And I'm trying to figure that out. That might not work. Because most people do 50, 60 on Gratiot.
It's a freeway, kind of, isn't it? Yeah, I agree with you there.
It is, and so.
The other thing was that, you know, you and I talked about a lot of the problems that you had kind of had earlier in your life. I mean, you've been homeless, you know, addiction problems and all that. Your outlook on life right now today is what?
It's great because, I mean, I couldn't go any lower. So I'm going up and everything seems to just be working for me. So
I'll never forget you telling me, you know, finding out that doing it all the right way is a lot easier.
Right. Well, all this while I'm out there ass backwards. Yeah, but it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier, and just being with my grandkids too, that's a blessing.
And speaking to your kids, I didn't think about this at the time, but I've thought about it since, about what the example of what Jerry did was to them, right? And the way that you have to learn in your life. In fact, here you are delivering turkeys and Thanksgiving dinners to people. There's a whole range of paying it forward here going on.
Oh, exactly, yeah. Because they do the same thing. And I think I got it from my mom and grandmother, because they had property in Port Huron and they just grew acres and acres of different vegetables, and they would just give it away. And I seen so much of that. And I said, okay, that's it. But I give away everything. I've given away my coat and hat. I'm like, wow. But if I see somebody needing more, then, because I know God will give it back to me.
That's so funny, because, you know, Jerry couldn't know that he was giving to a giver.
Right. You know, that's, yeah. And I didn't know I was receiving from a giver. But he's a giver. He is.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Well, wow.
That's my
We got all kinds of traffic going on here.
youngest daughter.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And I don't know who that is. But I'm telling her to get out. She's talking about, they don't know I live here. Come here.
Well, my last question then, if I come back here, we meet next year.
Okay.
What's life look like then, do you reckon? Tell me about your hopes for moving forward.
Oh, yeah. I'll probably be a billionaire. I told you one day.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I
you
remember.
looked at me like, you have no sense.
No, I'm not doubting anything here.
Well, I said, I'm going to be a millionaire next. This is so great.